Okay, things turned out to be a pretty nice day out there today. So my plan is to introduce y'all to some Mother Wild Strawberry garage cars. I got to get some stuff running for the first time in a while, a few months anyway, and yeah, get it from the house to get some stuff from the house to the shop, change some oil, do some general maintenance, and just keep up on the equipment I got. So here we go. Let's check it out. First thing I'm going to do is actually get this motorcycle going. Say hi to Sluggie. Hi, Sluggie. So I'm going to get this this motorcycle going. It is a 1986 BMW R80/7. It started life as an R80 RT. The fairings are gone, and I kind of built it out to a cafe racer. So I'm going to get this thing somewhere where I can get at it and hopefully get it outside and off this stand. Oh man, let's see if it wants to start for me. Somehow I kind of doubt it. So I moved these shocks and I made this whole custom subframe. It used to be a bolt-on unit with tabs here that would bolt on, and I cut it off, welded this thing on here, and then I bought this light bar off eBay. That's tail lights, turn signals, and stop lights. Pretty cool. Let me show you. See, that's with the tail lights. And then turn signals, and obviously the other side's the other turn signal, stop light. What else? Yeah, the tank came out pretty good. I'm probably going to end up redoing it, in all honesty. There's some parts in it that I don't like. I made that battery box right there. It's the tray that was on it was really big and ugly. And what else? Yeah, painted the engine, painted the exhaust, painted the wheels. I have, this is going to be my license plate holder. I made that. And then I have other ones for the front. And I got to bend up a fender on the English wheel and do it like that. But yeah, it was a super fun project. I did frame off on it. I had every single thing off this frame. So it came out quite nice. I'm happy with the way that it came out. It's dirty right now. It needs a good bath. The other thing I really want to do is get a different gauge cluster. When I was leaking brake fluid, I couldn't figure out from where. I don't know. I think maybe I was just a little over full. Fingers crossed. But they're cool. You know, opposing two-cylinder. So you see right there. It's called an airhead. It's air-cooled opposing two-cylinder. Carbureted. And what I really like about them, what I think makes them super neat, is that they have a drive shaft. So right in there, it's not chain driven, it's driven on a drive shaft. And I think that's pretty cool through this final drive unit. And there's also a drum brake in there. So, okay, the BMW is running and driving. I got to gas up the 125. Give that a little workout on the property, and then I'll be on to the Buick. Nailed it. We're gonna have some fun with those. Here it is. This is the car that started everything for me. 1965 Buick Wildcat. It's got a 401 nailhead in it. I'll give you a little bit more of an in-depth look here in a minute. I just want to clean it up real good. It's got to get detailed. It's got dust all over it, and it's been sitting the whole winter pretty much. I want to change the oil, detail it, and then I'll give you all the grand tour. So I'm going to get after that for now. All right, let's start with the engine. As you can see, I got it on pins, and there's actually a story behind that. Oh yeah. Okay. So when I first got this car, it didn't have a hood latch, and I didn't know anything about anything. I didn't know I didn't know anything about anything, and I took it out for the first time, and I'm cruising. I get up to about 50 miles an hour. All is well. I knew it had no latch up here in the hood. But I figured the thing weighs 150 pounds. It's not going to go anywhere, right? Wrong. This thing blows up on me at 45 miles an hour. It bent these back to about 90 degrees, and it blew this side apart. And luckily, that hinge stayed together and held the whole thing on the car. And it was a scary moment. And what I ended up doing, you can see in here, it's all wrinkled. So I just beat the hell out of it, bent it back down, and just did some very crude body work. You can see it, you know, in person. You can see it. It might look okay on the video, but in person, you can definitely tell that it's had some body work done. Yeah, you can see the Bondo there. I didn't take very much time to do it because it's a kind of a rat rod, kind of a knot. And then for the hinge, so you know I have that wood stove back here. I put the whole thing in the wood stove till it was all red hot and molten, and then I bent it all back into shape and put bolts in. You see one there. I put bolts in instead of rivets. And ever since, you know, I've been meaning to get a new one, but you know what? I like that it's wearing its scars. And I'm going to keep it on there. It works fine. So, all right, here it is. The Behemoth 401 nailhead. This was a 2-barrel car, and I got this 4-barrel intake on eBay, and then I got a Carter AFB from work. I have the choke wired open. I really only drive it in the warm weather, so I don't need it. That is a cow skull. It's from Idaho. My brother brought it back for me when he was a hunting guide in Idaho. And what I did was I super glued all these teeth in, and I super glued all this stuff so that it doesn't come off at speed. But I don't know. I like the way it looks. I know some people are going to hate it, and some people probably think I ruined this car, but I don't care. It's my car, and I drive the heck out of it, and I love it. I love it to death. What else? Okay, yeah, these plug wire things, I made them up a couple years ago. They bolt right onto the headers. I moved the coil back to the firewall, did a lot of cleaning in here. I spent a lot of time detailing the engine bay. It's a little bit dirty right now, even though I just cleaned this whole car. But yeah, I mean, it's a good looking engine. So, okay, so they call it a nailhead. You can see these heads are kind of sitting straight up and down. And the reason they call it a nail head is because the valves are sticking straight down in like the head of a nail. So that's where it's got its name. And these engines, they have a ton of drag racing history. TV Tommy Ivo made him really famous in the Showboat. He jammed 4 of them together, and that was his drag car, and put it on a rail. So yeah, lots of drag racing history and hot rodding history. There's a lot of them. You know, it's kind of a common swap for like a Model A hot rod is to put a nailhead in. They have tons of torque. It's all low-end torque. So this was dubbed okay, so originally, like I said, 2-barrel car. The 2-barrel 401s were dubbed Wildcat 410s. And so on the air cleaner, it would have said Wildcat 410 on it. And that confused a lot of people because usually, you know, you'd think that would be how many cubic inches it is. But all the, you know, that moniker is about the torque. So the 2-barrel version of the 401 made 410 foot-pounds of torque. So it was dubbed the Wildcat 410. The 4-barrel version of the 401 made 445 foot-pounds of torque. So then that one is the Wildcat 445. And then there's a bigger cubic inch one. That was the Wildcat. It was the 425 cubic inches, and that was the Wildcat 465. So 465 foot-pounds of torque. And then there was another one, kind of the holy grail of these engines, and that was the Super Wildcat. And it came, GM made dual quad intake for these, which is super cool. I saw one at a swap meet not too long ago, and it was only $400 for the intake and the carburetors, and I just didn't have the money on me. I would have bought that. I should have bought that in a heartbeat, man. I should have gone and taken out a loan. I should have got a cash advance on my credit cards for that one. But anyway, that's like the holy grail with the GM dual quad intake on it, and it came with 2 Carter AFBs on there. They also some of them came with Rochester 4Jets. I think the Carter AFB is the better carburetor for them. But yeah, so right now this was a Wildcat 410. Now it's a 445-ish. I don't actually know if it makes 445 foot-pounds, if the 4-barrel is really the only difference between the 410 and the 445, but I'm calling it a 445. So really what ended up happening was I got about half of this thing down to bare metal, and then half of it I just have at tree rings. And I kind of just dug the way that it looked, and I went with it. So from there, my brother is an artist, and well, amongst he's a lot of things, but he's an amazing artist, and we were watching a lot of 50s drag racing stuff on YouTube at the time, and we were getting into hand lettering. We were really digging the way that the hand lettering looked, and it's cool that not a lot of people are still doing that. It's all kind of gone to vinyl. So he and I kind of sat down and put together a graphics package, and he executed all of them. He laid them all on here with carbon paper, and then put them on. He did them mostly with paint pens. And I'll just start. Yeah, okay, I'll start right here. So yeah, as you can see, I do have clear coat over the whole thing. That is called Glisten PC. It's a POR 15 product, and it's a DTM clear coat. So it's a self-etching clear coat. It's super industrial, and I ended up rolling it on with a paint roller. Quick and dirty, kind of goes with the whole vibe of the car for me. And I built it to drive. It's not a garage clean. It exists to drive. So let's start over here. I got my Punk Rock Bullseye. Did that one out of a stencil. My brother made up a stencil for that one and sprayed it on there. Up here, I got the Cat in the Hat because it's a Wildcat. Again, that's all hand laid. And it stayed on there pretty nice. I like that it's, right at the driver's seat. I'm holding my hat out the window. We came up with these cloud letters. Here today, the other side says gone tomorrow, and I didn't want anything too big. That's the biggest graphic on here, is the here today, gone tomorrow, and the Punk Rock Bullseye. But I didn't want anything too flashy because the car already is super flashy. The car is already, the paint job is already pretty grabby. So I wanted the graphics to be kind of low key, and you kind of gotta like explore the car and find them. So there's lots of little stuff, like there's these ladies all over it. Lots of faces, just kind of hidden throughout the paint job. And then here, we got some tracks. And that is Harry the Dirty Dog. That was my favorite book as a child. That one was a hard one to do because it was in black and it's on a dark background. So Matt really knocked that one out of the park. More faces. This one's kind of my favorite right here. Right above the wheel. And yeah, some other, I got tape on the headlights and some other little things, but so that's the paint job. And it was a blast to do. Him and I did that together. That was really fun and special that we could do that together. So this is all, I let this flash rust before we put the paint on. And it's grown a little bit, but the clear coat's really holding it all in there, and it's not bubbling up through. It's really, you can't hardly feel it. So it's really not you know, dangerous rust. Right there, so that's the date that we did the actual paint job on it. So that would be October 21st, 2016. That was when this car really came back to life. So let's check out the interior. The dash is actually quite nice. It's got one crack in it right there, but other than that, it's all together and fairly nice. This is the car that I want to give to my kid one day. I want him to go to prom in it or something. I don't know. I had a ton of fun doing this one, and it, like I said before, it really started everything for me. And in the beginning, you know, I was still in school, and I would work on this and, you know, my downtime. And then I was just kind of learning from YouTube. And I started with super basic stuff, you know, just spark plugs and oil change and tune-up stuff and how to keep this thing running. And that's where it really all started. And I just kind of fell in love with the work. So this car has a very, very special place in my heart. And I know some people probably think that I ruined it or whatever, but I don't think so. I really don't, because it started me down this path, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. So. Oh, God. All right, what are the odds this thing's gonna start? Hey, look at that. Oh boy, the Porsche started. I'm just in the shop now. And we got some weather. We got some weather coming in. And the window just magically started working. I like problems that fix themselves. Boom! Yellow like a school bus. 1986-ish? 87. 1987 Porsche 944. I love the way these things look. It's rough. It's definitely rough. It's got, well, it's reading 208 on the odometer, but the speedometer doesn't work and the odometer doesn't count. So at least 208. It's a decent looking car. It's rough. It's rough, but you know what? It wants to be something else, and I'm gonna help it get there one day. Or maybe I'll sell it. I would not mind selling this. It is a 5-speed. It's got the 87 dash. Yeah, it's a fun little car. It is a fun little car. I got the phone dial wheels. It's not a turbo. It's not a turbo. Someone just stuck that on there, try to fool me, and it didn't work. So yeah, we got the Porsche, we got the 65, we got the bikes, the 125 DRZ and the BMW R80/7. Miata's not mine. And there's Sluggie, beautiful, beautiful Sluggie. And outside in the graveyard, just through the window, 48 Buick Super Sedanette, 65 Buick Wildcat, and there's Lucille. Oh, Lucille, you big, beautiful lady. Update! It's not rain, it's hail! Oh, God! The poor little Porsche. I'm sorry! Luckily, it's insured. Oh, Christ. Okay, here's everything. 65 Buick Wildcat. Got the BMW R80/7, 944, Suzuki DRZ 125, D2 S8. That's my daily. Isn't she pretty? And of course, most importantly, the crown jewel, Sluggie. Okay, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Wild Strawberry Garage Stable. It's cool to see them out here like this. I've never had them all parked next to each other, so this was fun. Like, comment, subscribe. As always, share it with your friends and keep the content coming. We'll be back on Sluggie before you know it. Poor Porsche.